needed the link.
Oh, shit. Can
Uh,
y'all hear me?
I can. We can.
You cannot hear me?
But I can hear you.
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah.
Okay, good. All right, thank you. I'm running late, so.
Right.
It's Monday.
Okay.
It's just, no, I stayed out too late last night, and
Yeah.
I went to see Cher, y'all. Oh my God, it was so great.
Awesome.
But I'm paying for it this morning.
Right. I can relate.
But yeah, it's all good. Just traffic. You know, I'm so used to getting up at the crack of dawn, not even at dawn, before dawn, and there's no traffic, and it's been crazy.
Right. Oh, good. Thank you, Jake. Jake sent out the link for. It's like we're all driving. None of us. We multitask and up just getting on the call. It's like, oh my God. Yeah. Anyway, terrific. Well, fantastic stuff this week, guys. Michelle, we missed you. You sound a whole lot better though.
I am better for sure. I'm still fighting to the very end. It's hanging on, but yes, I am feeling much, much better. Thank God.
You do sound better.
Yeah. It was incredible. It's got to be, to me, the best GoPro. I loved it. They even, one of my favorite things that they did was to connect the little nuggets from previous GoPros, and they would play those.
Yeah.
Even in the blanks. I mean, it was just nonstop information coming in and great stuff and fantastic speakers. To have Grant Cardone, Lou Holtz, Harvey McKay, dang it, the hip hop guy, what's his name? E.T. Eric Thomas, I believe.
Yeah.
I could be, but oh my gosh, it was unbelievable. It really was.
I agree.
Yeah. So worth every penny and then some. And everything that, I mean, pages of notes, pages and pages, and Eric always says to put a star next to that key information that you got from that speaker, and implement it. And if you see that it's something you can implement in your organization, do it. And I thought that was, I've got my GoPro book with me today to make sure that I go back through and look at some of those that I'd starred along the way.
I do too. And on the plane, Kathy, I was actually going through, because some things you had to hurry up and take pictures of slides. On the plane, I was going back into my slides and writing the notes in the book and highlighting things. I was highlighting things that, instead of starring, because I didn't star during the time, but I went back and highlighted, because I started reading. I've got half of it done. I haven't read all of it because there's so many notes. So that's something I'm going to do at lunch break. Instead of getting on my phone and doing stuff that I usually do, I'm going to do that today. And I think I want to make a suggestion, because I'm going to have to get off in a few minutes. I won't be able to stay on the whole time. How about let's plan a look back, a GoPro look back, all of us kind of getting together and make an action plan for the team? How do you feel about that?
Well, and actually, if we could just, everybody share your key takeaway or your aha moment on one of the calls, I think would be great too.
And I have access to the live stream for, I guess, another, I don't know for how long, but I'm waiting for him to get that uploaded so I can go back and rewatch it. Right. Because I didn't get to watch all of it.
Right.
And, I didn't, like at the shop, my Wi-Fi was not, it was just more aggravating than anything. So I had to just wait till I got home. But so I have access to the live stream for a
Yeah,
while,
so
or
do
the
we.
recordings.
Yeah, we'll have
So
2 weeks of it. We'll have 2 weeks
mhm.
that we can go back and review some things.
Yep.
Yeah, and I plan to, I've already told Rob he's got to sit down with me and watch Lou Holtz again because, he has such a respect for the man, and I know he would enjoy that. And
Oh yeah.
yeah, even Harvey McKay, we walked in late on him, and
Yes, I want to re-see him. I want to play that one back.
yeah, he's fantastic, and even with Rob, you got to take baby steps, but my Rob, but even for him to see Eric Thomas, I think that would be a good one for him to see, and to change your way of thinking about some people. My husband's whole family is bad about judging the book by the cover,
Yeah.
and it just like Pitbull, when I think we were already in Vegas before I told
Really?
Rob, who our guest was, that at that event that it was going to be Pitbull, and he was like rolling his eyes, but he enjoyed it, So that's
I
the
never
way.
would have dreamed in a million years.
Yeah,
Because I mean,
yeah,
just the name alone was just like, huh?
right,
So,
Yeah.
right, yeah.
but yeah, his story's
Anyways,
pretty incredible too.
yeah, yeah. So, anyways, did everybody get to read the chapter 15 from Think and Grow Rich? I think Michelle did already, right?
Well,
What was it?
I listened to it on Audible, but yes, I did.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
What was it? What was the question?
Chapter 15 of Think and Grow Rich that Jake asked us to do.
Oh, where did he? Okay, no, I didn't look at that assignment.
The
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm the slacking student, I guess.
Well, complete your assignment tonight. How's that? You had share last night. But
Is that when it came out? That's probably why. Okay.
No, it was a couple of days ago. He was ready. Oh no, when you guys were coming home.
yeah,
You guys
on
were
the
on
way
your way
home.
home.
I don't remember seeing that. Was it okay? Well, I'll go back and look. I don't know if I have that book. I think I do.
It was just yesterday that I sent it out, and I sent a link so you can actually read the chapter for free online. There.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll do that. Thank you, Jake.
No
Is
problem.
that the link you sent this morning too? Is that what?
No.
I know you sent some. Oh, okay.
No, this morning was Dexter Yeager.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay. I didn't get to see that.
I already
It's
started
actually-
listening to that. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, I
Because I was
enjoyed that.
doing my chapter 15 this morning. So that's why
Oh, really?
that's why I was a little late getting on the call.
Oh, she was wanting to hurry up and cram her for the test, right?
Last minute homework assignment. Well, I had forgot I invited the kids over for the hayride last night.
Looks like y'all had a good time.
We did. It was very nice, but I was ready for everyone to leave because we really haven't got any rest. I mentioned
It's been rough.
it has, and oh my God, Beverly is a night owl, and the woman does not sleep. She doesn't sleep. I've decided she does not sleep. But
No,
we had
she
a
calls
blast.
me when we would talk on the phone. It would be late. I'm like, Beverly, I gotta get up early. I'm like, I gotta go.
I gotta tell you guys, it was 4:30 in the morning. The last night that we were there, 4:30 in the morning, when I laid my head down to sleep for 1 hour. I got up at 5:30 so I could catch my super shuttle at 6:30. So
Girl, I don't know how you did it. Did you sleep on the plane at least?
I did.
Okay.
Oh God, yeah, I did. Yeah, and I don't do well at sleeping on the plane either. But I was like, I've got to get some sleep, and so I'm sitting there and the head bob going on, but I,
Yeah.
was able to figure out, how to sleep. But yeah, I met
Yeah,
some great people on the plane too, so that was good. But
that was good.
yeah, and met some great people last night at the on the
Hayride?
hayride. Yeah,
Cool.
that was even better because those people are right in my subdivision, and it was fantastic connections, good conversation, and guess what? We talked about them, and it was very good. And I found out where they live, contact information. So, anyway.
Well, then it was worth it, girl. That's awesome.
Yeah. So that's good.
We didn't get home. We didn't get home till like 1 a.m. Sunday morning, and our flight. We got to the airport. I guess it was 11 something. But we ended up going and having getting something to eat at that Del Sol, the same place Jake and Candace, if you're on, where Lily's party was at. It was packed at 1 o'clock, 12 o'clock at night, or in the morning. So we slept in and then went to mass later midday. So it was, and all I wanted to do was take a nap yesterday. I didn't want to. So then went to the concert. So
cool. Good deal.
I'm ready to go though. This is Monday, new start, new day, new week. Let's do this.
Absolutely.
Right.
So,
Absolutely.
Kathy, you said you did get a chance to read the chapter?
I did.
Or as much as you could?
Yeah, I got all the way to the final thing, and the final, and I only probably had a couple of paragraphs left when I cut it off. But
and I
because
know
I
that
was
you've
doing
read the book
awful.
before too, so it's kind of a refresher. So
Right.
what was, just real quick, I want to get people's biggest takeaways, because the thing I like about that is it talks about the 6 basic fears, and for each of us, something is going to stand out more than others, right? So for you, what was your biggest takeaway as you read through that?
That really, I have such a strong belief in God that I really don't have the fear, and I do have a little bit of. One of the things that I do fear, I guess, is more of what people think of me.
Yep.
I do have
So
that
the
fear.
fear of criticism.
Yes. So
and me too.
I do.
That's probably my biggest one.
Yeah. And I think that all of us, we welcome God into our group and into our lives and everything that we do, and like Claire praying over our food at the GoPro, and we're all comfortable with that, and we know that we know the scriptures that what it says about fear and being anxious and all of that, and the fact that with him we can do anything. And so I think that all of us have that mindset, and just to remember that when that fear starts to creep up. And that's all I got to say.
Definitely.
But it is, it does definitely sneak up on me with what people think about me, and that is especially with relatives. So
yeah, and that's one of the tough ones, friends and relatives, for sure.
Yeah.
And Claire, just so you know, the chapter is on the 6 basic fears. It's the last chapter in Think and Grow Rich. And it's the last chapter because basically what Napoleon Hill says is that you can have all the knowledge and you can do all the practices in the previous chapters, but if you don't deal with these 6 basic fears, you'll never get what you want out of life. And the 6 basic fears in order of severity is the fear of poverty, the fear of criticism, the fear of ill health, and then there's the fear of the loss of love, the fear of old age, and the last one is the fear of death.
Wow.
He's got it listed from what's most prominent in people to what's least prominent. And it's interesting to me because Candace will talk about how she's afraid of death. And so it makes me realize that for some people that is a legitimate fear. Whereas for me, like, that never even crosses my mind. But
I'm not afraid of death either.
The other is that the fear of poverty is at the top of the list, and the fear of criticism is following second to that. But if you think about it, most people are so fearful of being criticized. However, if they have no income and they need to do something to makes it, like network marketing is a great example. If somebody is flat broke, that's when you see people have all these breakthroughs and they no longer care about what anybody thinks, right? So that fear of criticism goes right out the window when the fear of poverty really takes over.
Wow,
So I
that's.
think it's
I
interesting.
can't wait to read it now. I'm gonna have to shut my door at work and sneak and do it today.
So you
I'm
got a
late
chance
for
to-
work. I'm sorry.
The fear of poverty is definitely one of my biggest ones is fear of poverty, just not having
stood out.
the stability and the I don't know. I've always had that, and it's something that that's what I'm trying really, really hard to overcome. But it doesn't even matter how hard you work. You can work your butt off and still, not be in a place where, you feel comfortable or feel like you have enough.
That's interesting too, because if your predominant fear is the fear of poverty, that's a great example of why you have been talking to anyone and everyone about your business and about Kyani. Like the fear of criticism is so far out of it's not even in your field of view right now.
That I've kind of overcome. It's like, I will probably never see you again, so you know what?
Right. Exactly.
It doesn't matter.
In a store where they could come back in, you're not even worried about that.
Right. Exactly. Yep.
Terry, did you get a chance to look it over, sir?
Yeah, I did. I've got the fear of poverty is probably the biggest one, and the fear of loss of love are probably the two biggest ones for me.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense. Cool.
Mm-hmm.
So Terry, do you feel like that stuff has come up in your RTT exercises before?
It comes up with clients, on a regular basis. Most people, they don't love themselves enough, and it's hard to have a good relationship if you don't.
Yeah.
So they definitely play hand in hand.
So the fear of poverty and the fear of loss of love.
Yes.
Okay, cool. Anybody else take a look at it? Candace, are you still on?
No, she's not.
She was on a little bit earlier. Okay.
Hey, Jake, without reading it, just from the few comments that you've made on the six, I would say mine would be fear, poverty, and criticism.
Yeah.
More than anything. I think criticism is probably the strongest.
Okay, cool. And that's the same with me, too. So that gives us all something to think about. But there's also a series of questions in that chapter. There's, I don't know, probably like 30 questions. And it's interesting because these are questions that most of the time, first off, we would very rarely ask anybody else these questions. But even more rare, do people tend to ask themselves these questions and give themselves honest answers. So he's got these series of questions, and the idea behind it is you go through them and you answer each of them honestly, and then from time to time you go back and you go through those questions again and you answer honestly again. And what he says is that you'll be amazed when you're honest with your answers in those questions. You're kind of shining a light. Basically, the way I see it is you're shining a light down in these deep, dark corners of your life that you don't really like to shine a light on normally. And so when you start to shine the light on those and answer those questions and be honest with yourself, if you do it regularly, what he says is you're going to be surprised at how the answers start to change because you're making yourself conscious and aware of these things that are holding you back in your life. So I think that would be interesting for us to go through, even just once a week or once a month, go through those questions and see how the answers start to change for us.
Yeah, I like that.
That would be good.
But the reason that I wanted to start all of this, coming out of GoPro, coming back from that event, the reason I wanted to start with going over that chapter is because I believe that wholeheartedly. You can have all the knowledge and the strategies in the world, but if you aren't identifying those fears that are holding each one of us back, if we're not conscious of those, it's going to continue to hold us back from everything in our business.
Right. And to have that in the forefront, like you said, I think it's fantastic because then when something happens, you can pull that up and say that's why I responded like I did, because that's what and
Yep.
maybe I can change that
Yeah,
before it controls you, because it will control you. So get ahead of it. So I love it.
And
And
shining the light on things that are troubling us. We're really good at pushing things down and hiding them, and keeping them secret. If you put them out in the open for not everybody, but in our group for everybody to see, then it kind of loses its power. So
it definitely does. And I'm not even saying that we have to share those answers, because those are very personal answers. I'm not even saying we have to share those answers with the group. If you want to, and have people help you through it and be accountable, that's great. But even just giving those honest answers to yourself and writing them down, it's a very powerful practice.
definitely. I agree.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny too, because
That's
a lot of people,
awesome.
the fear of poverty they say the fear of poverty is at the top of the list. And I think that for almost everyone it is, whether they recognize it or not, because the truth is that usually if somebody doesn't have the fear of poverty, for most people, it's because they have a job that's bringing them in just enough money where they don't have to worry about, being out on the street.
they're
But that
comfortable.
fear is still there. Exactly. The fear still exists, though, because they keep going back to do that thing that most people don't really genuinely want to do.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of, it's almost hidden by the fact that you have a job bringing you some sort of normal income.
Or you've experienced it. You've lived it.
Yep.
And you know that you can overcome it. So
Yeah.
that would be,
Absolutely.
that's me. It's like when you have been at the bottom and you know that, I've got shit I can sell, I can make it, I will figure out a way, then that fear goes away. But because I thought there was a time that would have been my fear, but it's like, oh no, that one's off the list now.
That's a good point. I never even thought about that. You're absolutely right.
It was the way I was raised, and we seriously ran garage sales during the week, and or my mom did if I was at school, but during the summer I did it too, and then on the
All these happens when she's saying something good.
I know.
Guys, well, I'm glad that y'all got a chance to look over that. Claire, you'll have that chapter available to you, but I think that's going to be really powerful to us finishing the rest of this month strong. And
we would set up.
I gotta jump off. So y'all have a
I
great
do
day.
too. I gotta go, guys. I gotta get to work.
Road and
All right,
sell
guys.
all the
Great
crap.
day.
And make a terrific day, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.
All right, guys. Have a great one. Take care.
Bye, y'all.